with Skylar. I consider her a top trainer. She does everything. The way I heard from her mother that she even trained cats when she was a little girl. My God. So I love the way that she communicates with the dogs and all the dog sense that she has. At this young age, she has accomplished a lot of things, even recognition from the AKC. Okay? So we're going to talk today because I saw a situation today that she brought a dog over that has a very bad reactivity situation. And I've been hearing a lot about that. A lot of people with that same problem. I personally do not have a lot of experience with it because all of our dogs, they've never showed them since, I've never seen any of my dogs with reactivity, and I've been breeding for almost 40 or 50 years. But now I'm seeing a lot of that. Can you talk to me about what's happening? Why is this going on, and how do you prevent it? It's one of the first things,
Mm-hmm.
So if you could explain to me.
So a lot of what I notice is that people as a whole is that recently, in the past 20 years or so, from research you can tell or you can see that people have started to really humanize their dogs, and we put our emotions onto the dogs. And you'll see some trainers who will say something along the lines of dogs don't have feelings, which to a point we say that because we don't want you to think that the dogs have the same feelings as humans do. Dogs don't experience emotions the same way that people do. And a lot of people will think that a dog is scared and they will run to it and be like, oh, are you all right? Are you all right? And the dogs feed off of that and they take that.
He's praising them.
They're praising them, yes. So as owners, we tend to make mistakes like that, and we will essentially praise the dog thinking that we're comforting it. Dogs don't understand that like people would. So I notice a lot of people will accidentally do that to their dogs, and it builds up over time to a dog who is very, very fearful and will always try and hide behind its owner in stressful situations. The dog won't know how to cope, and eventually it leads to the dog having outbursts of growling, barking, and doing whatever it can to protect itself out of fear, thinking that it will make the scary thing go away.
So those are the fear biters that we used to call.
Yes, fear biters. And another part is genetics. A lot of people now have started breeding dogs whose temperaments are kind of not that good, and the dogs probably shouldn't be bred. And you'll start to see temperaments show up in puppies.
So you can see that in puppies?
Yes, a lot of dogs, yes, you can. And you'll see puppies that tend to be a little bit fearful. They don't want to explore things on their own, and it actually also has to do with how they're brought up too. Are you doing sensory work with them and everything else? So the puppies here, as they grow, we do a lot of sensory work with them, and we teach them different textures on their feet, different noises, different sounds, and being picked up, stuff like that. That prepares them for the future, and it helps them get a sense of bodily awareness. Almost.
Can a fearful puppy that's born like that genetically, can it be changed? Can it be transformed? Can you change that behavior?
I definitely think that you can manage it, and you can teach the dog new ways to cope and how to react to the situations. But if it's genetic, it's part of the dog's, the way that their genetics are. You cannot fully get rid of it. Okay. Just like, for example, if you take sight hounds and breeds that were bred for hunting, you can teach them all you want not to go after things, but it's in their DNA,
in their
it's in their genetics, it's in their lineage to act that way.
I see.
So it's the same thing with temperaments, honestly. You can teach the dog. You can definitely teach the dog, teach him how to behave, teach him different ways to act, but it comes down, or it boils down to management and how you, as the owner, handle the dog, your routine. Are the dog's needs being met mentally and physically? Is the dog being trained? Is the dog understanding between handler and dog? Is there communication there?
What advices could you give to people who are getting new puppies and how to be realistic of what they're choosing, what to look for in the puppy, and then when they get the puppy, what are your advices for them to prevent to have a fearful reactive dog?
So when you're picking a puppy, if you know there's multiple puppies for you to choose from, I definitely recommend picking whatever one you think will fit you the best, temperament-wise. And once that puppy comes home, it's important to start crate training, hand feeding, luring, and the basics of training, so that way the dog can kind of have a basic understanding of training. So when you start proper socialization and teaching the dog how to be out in public, you're essentially setting the dog up for success from the beginning. And then you take the dog out, you expose them to things, you make them do things that are uncomfortable to them. And a lot of people will actually, let's say you have a different texture, like a metal crate on the ground, and the dog doesn't want to walk over it. A lot of people they won't make them walk over it. And what happens then is that you're reinforcing that fear, and then the dog's not going to get over it. So if you teach the dog from the beginning that they have to kind of trust you and go through with what you're telling them to do, you will build a bond with your dog, and you will also set your dog up for success, because the dog will believe in itself, and it will know that you're not going to set it up for failure.
Good.
Right? If I wanted her to sit, I'd go sit. Good. So that way she's confident. I make sure she's good. And I like to use the and pretty much lure them on top of them. What is this thing? Yeah. And it helps teach them their confidence up, because eventually they're going to understand